Hello and welcome to some Factorio. My name is Trismegistus, and in this series of streams, I am attempting to build some aesthetic bases. Now, what do I mean by aesthetic bases? What I mean is bases that look good. So, an example of what I'm doing is this, which is a smelting array. It's not particularly productive in the sense that it's only got a relatively small number of beacons, and there's only, what's that? 4 effect sources on that one, for example, and then 5 on that, and it's all sort of not designed for efficiency as such. It's designed to look quite good, and I think that looks quite good, that setup. And it got things like fake safety walls for the engineers, so he didn't go running into dangerous areas, and patterns on the floor, and what do you call them? Signs and all sorts of stuff like that. Also, doing my best to make it look good on the map. So we got a nice belt design there. This is a little higgledy-piggledy, but I think some areas of it's not too bad, but higgledy-piggledies are fine. But you can also now see what I've been working on since the last of these streams, which was a little while ago. But it's the ports, basically. So what I've done is I've already built a factory, a similar smelter, exactly the same size of smelting, that is train-based in terms of its unloading side of things. Now, that's odd. I thought I was going to make that a harbour as well. That's confused me slightly because I thought I was only having 2 of these, and one was entirely boat-based and one was entirely train-based. But I've got a note there saying copper plate loading harbour. So was I also going to make that load on ships as well? Because this is entirely boat-based. There's no way I could get trains in here. Because I'm only having 2 of them, 2 smelters, 2 foundries, and we're having 3 copper loading areas. So this one is the one I've done that's trains. This one over here is what we'll probably work on today, which is going to be boat-based. So harbours and ports as well. And then this one is mixed, so this mine will be loading things both onto boats and onto trains. However, there's no point putting stuff on boats for this one if it's all train-based. But yes, so as you can see, it's the same layout of smelters. And this time we've got a loading side for raw copper ore here that is trains. And the idea is it comes down here. The trains are gigantic, and that's deliberate, because I think they look pretty awesome, the gigantic trains. It's also a bit realistic. If you've ever seen those trains that cross Australia with, millions of tons of bauxite ore in particular. And then it definitely loads things onto trains, but I've also got a note here saying harbour. Maybe I just ditched that idea. I don't remember doing that. But yes, so this is the harbour I've come up with. So we've done all the trains one. There's obviously going to be an equivalent for iron. I'm not anticipating it being like radically different. It needs to be obviously plumbed in, but essentially we'll be able to take a iron one and plop it down appropriately, to for the smelters. I think we'll have the same size basically. I think, because the numbers are different depending on whether I do steel, from iron ore, or I do it from steel iron plate. But yeah, so what I've been working on, we sort of had a start of this in the last stream. And what I ended up deciding to do, I only had 4 harbours before, picking up the copper plate. But I kind of decided I wanted more than that. Because it didn't really match numbers-wise. Because, as you can see, I've got loads and loads of ore being dropped off, and then only 4 picking up when there's capacity for 8 trains. Here, 2, 4, 6-8. Seemed a bit daft. The boats do carry more, but they're extremely slow. So I thought, right, well, we probably want 8 instead. And so what I ended up doing is putting like a double harbour in. And I think this looks pretty cool. I'm having to put these in like bridges because basically the trains are sort of, the boats are fake basically. They travel on water and you have to put them on water, but you can then landfill over the track basically, and it doesn't care, so it will travel across, that land. But yeah, so basically we've got loading on both sides. I was hoping to show you unloading, but for some reason they're not stopping at any of the stations. Why are they not stopping at stations? And this is what we kind of have to fix first off. Oh, look, I haven't properly tidied this up. Look. Oh, I forgot to put the concrete in. Yeah, I remember not doing that. We have to fix it so that there's logic on all of the stations, because what's happening, basically, is this. The boats are only going to the first one. And what we actually... I could set them to specific things. Which would be fine. But I think we probably need a logic system that basically says when these are full, close the stop, because they're all named the same thing. Oh look, there's missed that as well. They're all named the same thing, so the boats are just going to like the first open one, and so we would only ever be picking up at this first station probably. And the problem's even worse here. Now I've exaggerated it by doing this, but they're only going to the first few stops because they do have train limits. But as you can see, by the time they've stopped, and say it's not realistic test really, but you have to think it's what would actually be happening is they'd be coming all the way over here, and they're very slow, even with nuclear fuel, which is what they got at the moment. And so by the time they came in, the ones down the bottom would be, well, the ones here would be free. So they would be coming in saying and dropping their stuff off. So what we actually want is a system on here that only enables the station when there's stuff for them to pick up. Now, because the boats do hold a lot, we kind of need to match the two. But as you see, they hold a lot. There's like a lot. Can I move these about? So you see it's like... loads and loads and loads and loads. Way more than a single thing can do. So I think I'm probably going to change the conditions, and so it's not full. It's perhaps the equivalent of whatever I've got, in the actual harbour for them to pick up, like the maximum amount. So on the other side as well, we need to do it so that they only start... although they only open when, they've dropped below a certain amount of ore, I think. And it is just an enable disable. I don't think I'm going to have, an over. I think the number of boats will match the number of harbours type of thing. Right, so is that what we're going to do today? I guess. Because the difficulty with logic systems is making them look good. They always look a bit scrappy. Have I even got any things? So what do I want? I guess I want... Let's just grab sort of some of both. Because what we really want... Or do I just set a condition on this? Because I say, I've limited them here, so each chest is 4,000, right? So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 32, 64,000 plate. And that's, I say, that isn't enough to fill a boat. Because, as you see here, so we've got, what's that, 2, 4... It's weird that that's exactly the one I was fiddling with. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So that's half a harbour. And then as you can see, and it fills the row there. So if I take that all the way down, that's an entire harbour, and we're not even a quarter of the way down the boat. So, well, or whatever that was, third of the way down the boat. So we can limit these. So that may be one way of sort of getting around it, but it won't count. It's sort of irrelevant in a sense because it won't count them, you know, as being full if we limit them. So how about instead of logic system, have I got any wires? I don't think I have. Don't know why I've gone over there. Oh yeah, I've got not very many red wires though. Is that because they're not? No, they're not on here, are they? So it's in creative mode, obviously. Creative mode and what? So if I wire up all of the chests together. Now, do I want the wires to go across? Yeah, let's do that. And wire them to these. And same here. And I think maybe we just do a sort of a loop. I'm only going to do one. So there's a loop there, and then we connect that to that. Do we use enable disable? Maybe. So it only becomes enabled when there's what? Because we have to think that it's not necessarily... We don't need to send it to train. So if we enable... Well, if I put that on 100, which way around does it actually work? Because how many have we actually got in? We've got 12,000. So if this was set to 12,001, well, if we just set it to 13,000. So it turns on. Okay. Is there really 12,000 in there? Because that's 1,000. Or is it double counting because of how I've done it? There's not 12,000 in there. Because there's not even 1,000 in any of these chests. Okay, so maybe if we take out, like, that wire. What does it say now? It still says 12,000. Where's it getting 12,000 from? Am I being dumb? Because there seems to be about 833 in every single chest. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 16 chests. Alright, so it's actually more. Okay. I guess because I'm thinking there's 10 chests, but there's 16. Okay. So that's at least numerically correct. So if we set... But what do I actually want it on? Because... I say, if I've got 4,000, is that 4,200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. So the maximum amount for 16 chests with 4,000 in each is 64,000. Okay. Now what I could do is have these be like one more. One higher, and then we could just say if it goes above 64,000, switch on. But because it's only one stack higher, it's not actually gonna matter, if that makes sense. So if I have all of these like that, which one did I do? That one. Because it would also create a little bit of a buffering effect then, because of the, you know, discrepancy, as it were, in volume. I think that should work. Yeah, I think we'll do that because, as I say, when you start putting these guys on, it's difficult to make it look attractive. I mean, you know, I could fence them in and stuff like that, you know, put some fences around them. But, I say, they're a bit sort of ugly. I mean, not that the game's not totally ugly. Okay, so I should be able to just copy this across because it should be identical and it should copy the key bits. Yeah, there we go. So I'll leave that. I need to do some tidying anyway because it looks like I've not finished the flooring here. Putting pattern flooring in. to make it look attractive. And there are other, I'll probably like put a sea wall effectively along here somewhere. I was quite keen to keep some of it, making it look like natural, natural entrance, as it were. But we'll probably end up with something like this. And I haven't done a lot down here because I need to decide what I'm doing, like defences wise, with the whole thing. That's that there. Yeah, so I'll probably end up with a bit of a fence around there. See if we can't make that look half decent. What I quite like is when you do have like the proper straight edge and you put brick on it in particular, it does actually sort of look like it's a seawall. That, because it does that effect there that makes it look like it's all brick all the way down rather than just on the surface. So it looks like it's a proper seawall. Oh, it does a similar thing for the concrete, but I'm not as keen. So if I just plop, you see, it's not quite as nice for me. I mean, that's probably a bad example because that's the. There you go. I prefer the bricks are sort of slightly better colour. It's so marginal that it doesn't really matter. But I think that looks more realistic. Yeah, so that's the harbour. I'll put the others in later, but I think I'm happy with that as a sort of condition. And it's also nice and simple, and without having like multiple rows of chests, I can't actually store a ship's worth of stuff anyway. Now, on this other side, this even makes the problem even more apparent. Obviously, I've got different layouts for both sides, and that is deliberate. On this side, what do we want to do? I guess it's almost the reverse of that, because have I capped these? I have. So what we could do, we could open this port if there's below a certain amount in the thing, because these I am anticipating, particularly that's why there's so many of them. These probably I will want to fill up, so we are probably going to have to do some sort of logic on the other side. So they will sit in the port for a long time, emptying, but we want to open this if it goes below a certain amount. I mean, we could just set it to 0, because then the boat won't come in until there is nothing in these chests. And this higgledy-piggledy thing, this is designed to draw evenly from every single, single thing. But there are 2 boats supplying each, so there is going to be such an enormous, stockpile that what I'm doing here is actually a bit silly, because actually the boats will sit here for ages to unload if they're full. So what we could do, as I say, is do the same thing, but we'll set this. The music seems a little loud to me. I've been having all sorts of audio. Oh, it's not too bad. Maybe it's just on here, because the wiggly line isn't too bad. Right. I'm sort of wondering, to make it look a little bit more even, should I just reconnect that again? Because then it's sort of, even round the thing. So I think I'd do the same here. So I want to connect all the chests up. Attach them to there. I said this before, the system is sort of smarter than you would normally anticipate for a logic thing. So this is giving a signal of 0. So if we put in a bit of stuff, it'll empty it, because it'll go around. But that's the 90 I put in. Okay. So if we switch this on, enable disable, for this being, what will we want to do? I guess it would be the equivalent of about 100 in each chest would be a good, or 50 I guess in each chest. Okay, so we've got 16 again, I think. 16. So it's the same, but it's half because they only stacked that. So it's 30. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. So if we've got 16 chests, and we want it to activate if it gets less than 800 then. So if that goes less than 800, there is the less than the equivalent of a chest in each one. So it probably wouldn't be that even, but that's fine. So, and this is the same. And does that work? So this should be open because there should be bugger all in here. Okay. Okay. That's simpler than I was a bit worried it was going to be because... let's skip through there. Because I wasn't sure... I thought we'd have to do logic, but thinking about it, it's just very simple conditions I want to set. So, I think that's okay. Let's go over to here then. And look at setting up the other side, as it were. So we want a loading system for copper ore. We might have to get into logic with these because we probably do want... I mean, I could just have them sat there filling up, but it feels like we probably need some stacks of chests for this. Am I going far enough down? Oh no, way off. In fact, why don't I have a boat over there? Have I got my boat? Yes, I have. Let's go in here then. Got me boat. Got me boat. Oops. Let's hop in there. Just because it's direct. I mean, this is slower than running. But we might as well. Because otherwise I'm going to have to run right the way around. You can go into God mode in this, but... I actually fit... and you basically... your character's not there anymore, but... I don't know, it doesn't seem to matter that much. You effectively move at the speed of the camera then, so... I sometimes think this helps me get the feel for the scale of the map, because it's so big, what I've revealed already. I've started to wonder whether it's really worth me doing it properly, or I just make this in creative mode. In fact, why am I... because I'd be quicker to run across, probably. So if we just cross the water with the boat. Can I not get out there? No? Do I have to be on shallow water? There we go. Yeah, it's such a scale of it that even... I mean, all I've done is I've built one mine and 2 foundries, and the actual foundry buildings I just copy and paste. And it's taken dozens and dozens of hours. Now, in practice, I'm probably going to end up... yeah, it's a lot of design work, so it takes a while. But, yeah, I say, I'm not sure that's sort of a sensible way of doing things, really. To design it all and then try and build it all. Because, I say, even just the amount of... If we do that... It's... Oh, I can't see the concrete. If I do that... Can I see the concrete? Oh, I guess it wouldn't show it, would it? Because it's... But yeah, there's like tens of thousands of bits of concrete and brick on there. So even just getting a smelter to make all of those is like, you know, impossible, basically. So what I'm thinking here is that essentially these will probably go. I may do something where I burn this coal. We're not going to set up the actual full-on mining, you know, properly. But the basic idea would be Did I blueprint that mine? These are the bits that I've been transferring between them. That's the road. I mean, that's another... I mean, you know, I've got to set up the road system. Have I not copied and pasted? I don't think I have I? Oh, oops. Is that one? Yeah, okay. So if we... What happened there? If we take that and sort of plop this down... Because what I'm actually doing, I'm setting these up. The reason I'm using prod modules in particular, I'm kind of setting these up so that they go... So this... Here. You see I'm sort of balancing individual parts. It's basically so that every belt is full and then sending them round to the loading. But you see I'm trying to get a certain number of belts out of each patch. So that it... Basically so that I can balance the individual ones and not balance the full thing. Because it would be, whatever it would be, 64 lanes of stuff. So I've not done the maths on that for this. But if we imagine... Because I'm sort of putting them down in a way that, you know, and like adjusting the miners to avoid exactly what I've just done there, so that we've not got any, you know, tiny bits of half patches that would run out in no time. Each of these, I'm basically testing with the... you know, each row with the prod calculator to ensure that there's more than a lane's worth of production on them. And then by ramping up, you know, productivity bonus, that will hopefully always stay true effectively. Not that I'm really intending this base to be long-term and sustained. But it's more so that I can avoid issues with having to do too much balancing. Because say when the scale gets to this, it just becomes a bit nonsensical. So yeah, so the idea is belts would come out of this way, and there'd be, you know, some sort of, if that's a point, if I get rid of everything here, like that. It might chug a little when I do this. Nope, not too bad. I'll get rid of them to start with. So yeah, there'd be an area of balancing sort of for each of these mines. And, you know, I'd be routing these up. So we want a bit of the equivalent here. So this, maybe if we double that, or 1.5 that, so that I can route belts round. So if we have a harbour, a port rather, sort of as an L shape there maybe, so we can avoid the coal, and maybe I can burn the coal to run this mine. So if we're looking somewhere around there, where would be a good place to come in? Maybe down there? Or that one, that'd be quite good. Yeah, okay, so if we go up there, and hopefully I can avoid killing myself, because I'm just using the water fill. I have not worked out what the bug is that means I can't use landfill. That's another reason I'm thinking of not... Do I want to come down there, in fact? Yeah, maybe we come down there. Is that too close? I'm thinking this bit here. But yeah, if I can't get the landfill to work, it's sort of... It becomes really risky, because if I make any error when placing down blueprints, it's not gonna work. So, you know, because I can blueprint the water, I believe, because I've got the water fill on. But yeah, it's a real risk. If I misclick, then it's going to be in the wrong place. So I was gonna, so roughly where I am, where does that come out? It's a bit low, isn't it? I mean, you know, I could put an angle here. It'd be kind of nice to come out of that bit, wouldn't it? So if this was the water here, no, that'd work, I think, yeah. Because we're only going to have the ports on one side. So if this was like where the boats come in, I need to be careful, because if I hit myself with the water, I will kill myself. Oops. You see, I just instinctively hit the Control Z and it doesn't work. I think I can do that. No? You're not going to let me do that now? It was letting me do that before. I can do that. Restore it. But you see, it's different terrain type. So, there. Oh, I've gone too far. Gone too far there as well. So, put that in there. That back in there. That's missed a little bit. Boop. Okay, so in theory that's the channel. Now, if I was to put, how many am I going to need and how many do I want in terms of loading? Because in theory we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, how many drop off? Oh, it's going to count the train ones as well, is it? Oh no, have I not named them then? What have I called it over here? Oh, unload. Okay, that's convenient. So how many drop offs have I got? 16. Okay. So do we have 16 pickup harbours? And what do I want them to look like? Because I could do this again. Or I could do something more similar to this. But 16 is a lot. It is a lot. Okay. So, I mean, size-wise, we could just use one of these, couldn't we? Just to get a feel. So if this was... where's a good place to copy it? If we copy it with the curves in, like a train station, and I guess, in fact, if I copy that as a unit, then that gives... In fact, I'm going to have to copy the tiles as well. So if that's the sort of size of a harbour, I don't know if they would load on both sides in this. And I could, I mean, because I can potentially belt across. Is that big enough to belt across? Or small enough to belt across? I think it's too far, isn't it? Yeah. But I could, in theory, make this narrow enough that I could belt across. And I could have some on both sides. Right, so if I'm putting in 16 of these... where's a good place to guess? So it's sort of there. I mean, would they be right next to each other? You have to do it twice to get the water in. But it could be, say, right next to each other. We'd have to do something funky with the... what should we call it? Although that's not going to be really there, is it? Not copied it wide enough on that side. So it would actually be maybe there. Because if that goes like that, then, oops, the boats are going down the middle. It won't let me do it because I say you can't put it over the top of land, but once it's there, you can put land on top. But the boats will be going down, was it there? Is that correct? Yeah. Which is roughly in the middle. I think probably needs to be... Yeah. Slightly wider at the top, but it's not far off the middle. And then they'd be able to go, you know, in from... So we're going to have to do weird crossings. I don't mind that. I say they're so, like, infrequent that it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So if we copy this with tiles, what does this end up looking like? If I put this... is that about right? We can tidy it up. I mean, it's not... doesn't have to be perfect first time. If that's 4... then that's 6. And that's 8. So any notion of doing 16 in on one side is gone, because that's not going to fit in there. So the other option is to do something more like... oh, I know another option is to do something more like that, where it's dual loading. Or to essentially... I probably won't let me flip it, but to flip that... no. And put some harbours on here as well. Difficulty with where I've got that now is they wouldn't fit, would they? Well, and be opposite each other. But we could move it this way, no problem. So we would have the difficulty then of how do we get stuff across to the other side. Break on through to the other side. But that's not insolvable. What do I think? If anything. I quite like the idea of it, of the harbours being on the other side as well, being, you know, both sides. I quite like that. Conceptually, yeah, okay. So if we were to do that, how narrow would this... could we make this water channel, basically? What would we have to make it? Because it runs out about there, doesn't it? So I put some of that in. So that's the absolute maximum width. I mean, it doesn't... you can put them super narrow, and as I say, you can have the stuff overlapping. It starts to look a bit weird when the boats sort of clip through the land and go around super tight corners and stuff. But yeah, I think that works better for me, I think, conceptually. Okay. So I have on both sides, and we already know that it's about the right length on this side, but not quite long enough on that side. So, to fix that, what do we do? I guess we move this over. So if we were to have this, say where? Not there. Maybe if the channel was like here. Yeah, that's not too bad, is it? And then if I kind of restore this like this, like so. I've already made that too narrow, too wide, haven't I? Although it could be wide on this side. It's only here that it needs to be narrow. Yeah. Okay. But oh, idiot. So it needs to be not that wide. That wide? There we go. No, one more. There. My excuse, have you ever seen the Suez Canal in particular? It's incredibly narrow. That boat that got stuck, you know, the reason it got stuck is you couldn't turn it around, basically. Okay, so where we're going to put the actual harbours. Oops, not that one. Let's put this back in and work up a new one. That work? There we go. Right, so if we were to put, so the boats say come down, where's the middle line? So it wants to be a bit wider anyway there, doesn't it? Otherwise it looks uneven. Because that then is overlapping the land, yeah. So if we do one more. Like so. And then... oh, it's too far down. So will it reach there? There we go. So if the boats are going to be coming... oops. Down this channel. So we can put that there. Just to remind me. But we can have that be there. Are they coming in that direction or going out in that direction? Because basically the boats are going to travel along this, you know, middle of here. Go either, you know, that way or that way. I'm not sure which. Go back there. So it's effectively a gigantic loop I'm going to create for them. But it would be better though. It probably would, wouldn't it? Because they're going to be coming in that side. So if it's left-hand drive effectively, that'd be easier if this was the exit. And this is the entrance. So actually they're going to be going that way. I mean, it doesn't matter for the things, but obviously the ports I need to put on the same side. So the boats come out of here, you know, going this way somewhere. Etc, etc. But they come in this way, so they need to sort of weave into this. Whoops. Boom. Like so. So they come in, you know, from over here sort of thing. Some route. Like what boats does. Like that. Yeah, that makes more sense. Because then it's a proper loop. It's like a proper, you know, turning around. Okay. So I don't have to be hidebound by the other one. You know, I don't have to follow it sort of thing. Same pattern. So we could do something, you know, unique as it were. But in practice, you know, it's a bit like train stations. They pretty much end up looking the same no matter what you do. But if we sort of came in at some sort of angle like this. Oops. Probably that one. Where does this let us? Because we have to signal them as well. So if we would, oops, we were to try and come in here. Or here. That'd be okay. So if we ended up with sort of two on either side, try and use that as a bit of a guide for the width of the water. And then, so I'm going to have to put the water in. But if we were something like this, because if I'm going to go on the other side, I either need to think the belts are going to have to go all across here. So actually this needs to be narrower as well. Or we need to be hopping across here. Which is what I've initially done. So if this was the waterway, because we know this is wide enough for a boat, but if we make it slightly narrower, is that in the middle? Okay. How big is a boat? So if the cargo ship was like that, say, and then the port is, because what I quite like about this is they do go on the land. They, they don't even care whether they're on the water or on the land, so you can make them look like either. It's a nice little sort of touch there. So if it was there, it is tricky. Though you can't, or I haven't been able to. It doesn't clip like it does with a normal train. So if we put that there, oops, and this is the carriage bit basically, the actual tractor bit. And what's this called? Jacob Carsey. So if we get you to go to Jacob Carsey, then you'll be nicely lined up and I'll be able to see where everything is. But you see it pokes out the edge as well. It's sort of, they don't clip and it's difficult to tell where the stop-start is. But we should be able to load in if we put a little, because what I've been doing, I'm putting a little lip in to put the inserters on. And somebody before suggested lining them up with the actual bits that are the hold entrance, the cargo holds, basically. Now, is that going to work there? So if I just chuck them in for the time being. So I can't put that there because the station's there. Port's there. But if I just temporarily power this up. We need okay, so that's close enough to insert. That's all I'm trying to test. And that's close enough to insert. Okay. So the maximum we could get in is like, all the way down there. Let's say it looks a bit better if they're lined up with the actual cargo holds. Whoops. You're going to put that back in if I... Yeah, okay. So if we put that there... It does obviously limit the amount that's going to go in. But as I say, it's aesthetic Factorio. It's not super mega efficiency Factorio. Super mega efficiency Factorio. A new mod coming soon. It's moaning about not having any fuel. Okay, so if we were to put that, say, there, and there, there, and there, that would give us all of the power. But in this case, as I say, I'm feeling that we probably need to be double stacking the chests because there's just so much going to be coming in. I mean, we could, in fact, it's probably better though to do that. And then this should be narrow enough for belts to cross over. Oh, loads of room, yeah. So, we line them up like that? Yeah, that's not too bad. So, if I put a little breach across, then I can walk between. So, if this was a belt coming in here, and one, say, oh, because that won't reach, no, it won't reach all the way over there. I could, couldn't I? In fact, I think I've done this on the other side. You have something like that. In fact, I'm pretty sure that is exactly what I've done. Oh, I haven't put two sets of chests on, have I? So that's wrong anyway. So it's just a sheer so much stuff. What's moaning about not having fuel? Oh, right, okay. They've run out, have they? That's fine. I don't really need them to do anything anyway. It's just testing it. In fact, let's put one of them on manual and they'll all just queue up then. So let's put one of these on manuals when it stops. If it stops. Should do. Because it's got a 3-second wait condition. You stopped? Yeah. Manual. There we go. Right, so they'll all just queue up now. Right, so I mean, we can still do this, but it's going to need to be positioned a little differently. So then belt, 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 and then this loops. Let's put them on the other side, like that. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes some sense. Now, do we wire up every single chest? I've been capping these off because it makes the maths a lot simpler if it's just 4 rows, because it's four lots of 10 basically. Because otherwise you have like 4.8 effectively, 4,800 or whatever. So each chest has 4,000 in. Well, no, they don't. They have 2,000 in now, don't they? And we've got 32 chests. So 32 times 2,000, 64,000. Why does that look suspiciously like what we had on the other one here? Oh, I suppose it would be because I've got twice the number of chests. That was 60, yeah. So I'm effectively compensating for the half stack size by doubling the size of the chests. And so it's the same number, 64,000. Okay. So yeah, so if I put, say, at least one of these. Which one did I open there? It was that one. Oh! Thank you very much for the follow, Jelly Mintos. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing, having a good day. It's weirdly cold in the UK today. I don't know if you're in the UK, but it's the beginning of June and it feels like middle of April. Right, so if we put all of these chests hooked up, now is there a way I can do that and it not look awful? Because the wires just get very messy. Maybe if I attach like that and then go back the other way, that won't look too bad. And then ding, 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 ding. It's like a spring being sprung. That. Wait. Didn't mean to do that, did I? That needed to connect to that one there. And then it looks the same on both sides. And that one I've connected. In fact, let's connect both of those. Connect that one as well. And that one. That doesn't look too bad. So the wires get really messy. Yeah, it's about 14 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so I don't quite know what's going on. Maybe it's it's God trying to punish all these people having street parties and stuff. Although I think that was that Friday most people were doing that? I think most people are just recovering today. Yeah, so then if we set this condition, we want to connect it to the... no, we don't. Want to connect it to circuit network, not train limit. Enable, disable. So if this has more than 64,000, which we know that because we got a extra chest or several with slightly more, it will exceed 64,000. Then that should work. And that will open the station and we'll be okay, I think. Now, the next question is if I if I connect this back up, like over here, these are a bit finicky and it's actually easier to do when you've got the stone brick on because, as I say, it tends to do this randomizing structure to make it look more natural. But I don't want it to look natural. I want it to look like a harbour. So if you put the brick on, it actually sort of straightens it all up. So you're a Factorio player, I presume, Johnny Mentos? Are you a first time chatter? It didn't. Oh yes, it did. So it says you're first time. So when I've chatted with you before, are you a Factorio player, or you just enjoy watching, or? So I had a few people sort of watch the stream, and they're sort of wanting to buy and find out whether it's any good, sort of thing. But you also get people who've played for 6,000 hours watching, and it's all quite fascinating how, sort of, well, for me it is anyway. I've done that too close, haven't I? So if we say that one has to poke out the end just to look a bit tidy, then that's the equivalent of that one. So I want 1, 2, and then a corner. 1, 2, and then a corner. Yeah, so I put that too close. I got it nice and tidy as well. I don't know. Oh, let's just do that. So I can sort it out later. So it was 1, 2, and then the corner. Okay. So it's actually way over from where I've got it. About like that something, maybe? So it's gone very wide, but as I say, I can sort of sort that out relatively easy by putting some of them in, because we know it needs to be too wide on either side, and sort of improvising with filling in. And say the boats won't actually care. Recently got into Factorio. I haven't quite completed the game, but I randomly got recommended his channel on YouTube. Oh, cool. A bit of I wouldn't just call it a weird experience, but YouTube has just just started recommending my channel for some reason. I don't know, because I've been uploading the VODs for, since I've been doing them basically, and it has just sort of, the couple of videos it just seems to have decided it's going to recommend, and I don't know why. Because you can, in the back end, it sort of says on what videos it's being recommended, basically, or suggested. And it's just almost completely random, which I don't know. The vagaries of the algorithm, So you're sort of at rocket launch type stage, are you, or you're still working on any of the sciences? I don't quite know why I'm bothering doing this just now, because I'll end up moving it probably. But oh well, so I'll give it a go. So I need to put a bit of water fill in there. Like that, maybe. Maybe we put Tiny bit extra there. That's a good start. It's nice and even, nice and same on the both sides. So, if I was to reuse this, what I would ideally want to do is put a signal buoy, I guess, in here, like that, and there'd be where I've connected them together. So, it'd be a signal buoy here, maybe. Or a chain signal, I don't know which just yet. So this is like the unit of harbour. Or unit of port. So if we were to... the closest we would want the next one. It has the same, 2x2 limit as trains do. So that's why it's not lining up perfectly. Because I've not done them perfectly. So if we fix one of them to be... which one? If we make this one further back, yeah, so then they line up properly. Oh, I need to correct. I need to do the tiles as well. Like that. Do that. So this would be like the closest next port. I'm trying to work out how many I can get, because if it'll just be 8 again. But if there's a lot of space, we'll probably put a bit of space between the harbours. Which it looks like there's going to be. Although I've just lost count. Okay. How many is that? Oh, it's only 7. So no, there won't be any space. In fact, this probably needs bumping up, doesn't it? Because we're not going to fit another one in. Okay. Oh, that's quite close to that. I mean, I suppose in theory I could have the belts going the other way. Because there's plenty of space to mess about with stuff here. And I could move this up as well. Give myself even more space. Because it's only... well, I don't suppose I could I, if I'm going to flip it over. So if we paste that in there... get rid of the port... where's the port? There's the port. Then it should... if we get rid of the boys as well... the boys... then it should... let me flip it. Or blip it, rather. So if we do that... so if those are the ports... oh, that looks quite funky, doesn't it, already? Difficult bit. What I need really is enough room here to get all the belts over. So let's go and see what that does. Nearly got enough rocket parts to launch the rocket. I decided to go artillery rampage after discovering how powerful it was. Yeah, it's quite fun, the artillery. It was great when they introduced that. Because clearing biters... well, I mean, it can get tedious still anyway, but it was just such a tedious job. If you wanted any kind of reasonable size. 2, 4, 6. Oh, that's perfect. Because we've got 8 inputs, basically. Oh, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go along. Right. And is that does... I've not just accidentally done one that's perfect. No, it's fine. Awesome. Okay. I say, there may be a struggle getting all the belts in here, because we're talking now about 16 belts for every single pair of harbours. So we've got oh, I'm going to have to use a calculator, because we've got 16 by 16, I think, haven't we? No, 8 by 16. So I divide by that by 2. 128 belts. Are 128 belts going to fit in there? How big is that? No, so that's 51 belts. So, just to give you a sense of the scale, double that isn't even enough room for all of the belts. Which I'm not, I say, that's sort of what I've done over here. In that, you know, I ended up I had originally thought about taking them through the middle, but it would have meant too much belt weaving, so I've gone round the outside anyway there. So precedent has been set. So what we can do is we can take all of the belts. Well, I can have these belts going across to here, these ones across to here, you know, those ones across there. We can narrow this channel and sort of, you know, split them up, or, you know, maybe these two feed that side and these two feed this side. So it's then only 64 belts. In fact, that's quite not a bad idea at all, is it? But then 64 belts isn't going to fit. I don't, you know, if I do want to grab this coal. So yeah, so there are some options, given the amount of volume that's coming out of here. Okay. Cool. Just trying to think it through if there'd be any problems. I think it's okay. In fact, that was a bit easier than I thought. However, I got to the point where my base was built so inefficiently that any new production I build isn't supplied with enough of anything, and I'm tempted to start a new world after I complete the game. I would, so... I mean, I think you're spot on, basically. That's generally what I would recommend. Is I'm sure, I don't know how many streams you've seen, but one of my general things is, and I don't post it so much on Reddit anymore, but people tend to restart a lot. It's quite a habit some people have, and it's I fully get it. You know, it's sort of, because you say you learn so much every time you play, sort of thing, that it's very tempting to go, oh well, I'll just restart and do the perfect world to start with. But the reality is, it doesn't really work like that. So you are better to push through to rocket launch, particularly your first time playing through, or I mean, if it's gone quite catastrophically wrong, and you know your base is overrun with biters, etc., then yeah, restart. But so it's better to push through to rocket. But after that, yeah, I would restart. In fact, it's what I did, because, I say, you will have learnt so much that it is usually worth restarting your first time. But then quite a lot of players play, effectively they sort of only have one base, and they just keep, expanding that and, fiddling with it. They'll add mods to the same base and all that sort of stuff. I was always, and that's why I did a series where I tried my first mega base, and the reason was that basically I would get to the point where I'd launch about 100 rockets or so, and then I'd restart. So they're, significant playthroughs. But I wouldn't take the next step and go to a mega base. Because initially that didn't appeal to me, but I guess I got to a point where I'd played the game through so often, I was kind of looking for new and different things to do. Okay, so we need... Or do we? Because how I've got this at the moment. I don't know if you've seen one of my sort of general tips for building is, I call it a tip, it's just sort of how I tend to do it. And it's not, it's not the most efficient and what have you way of doing it. I haven't even got any assemblers. But I tend to do this approach where, so if you say building, red circuits or red science packs, I usually do that sort of construction fundamentally, because I like how the power poles cover everything, so you can have as many inserters as you want and exerters, doing whatever. But I generally do, because I like buses, so I do a thing where I always split. So the inputs will come down the sides, and output always goes the opposite direction, and goes either back onto the bus, or if I'm building some other machines, say these were engines or something, and we're feeding a different line of electric engines, then I'll cross it over there, because what I think a lot of players do, and what I used to do, is you have the output go in the same way as your input, and you're like, or maybe the output's here, and you're like, right, well, I'll build my my electric engines here. But then you're like, oh, I need more of these, so let's, I don't know, put them in here and feed them backwards, and suddenly you're into spaghetti territory, and you've got, undergrounds and all that. Not that there's anything wrong with spaghetti, but it's actually a fairly difficult way to play. And these wouldn't be even, because you maybe only got two machines there, and so you've got all your engines on one side, or you're like, but I only want the engines on one side, so how am I going to do that? Oh, I don't know, let's feed them in together and then put them on one side, and, it becomes a mess, basically. Oh. Oh, there we go. For some reason, Automod decided the phrase "bite me" was sexual content. I guess it's Americans, isn't it? But I wouldn't have said "bite me" was a sexual content. There's always a lack of future proofing that comes back to bite me. Yeah, I say I wouldn't worry too much about that, because, well, I used to play the game, and I've got a series running where I'm basically building blueprints. So I've got these blueprint libraries. I've played the game for 2,500 hours, and this is my first time making standardized blueprints for myself, because I always design from fresh, because I enjoy doing that, even though it means it takes a lot longer than it should. But effectively, you'll build up. I'm always, play the game your way you want. So copy somebody else's blueprints or designs, or, come up completely new ones for yourself. It's all good, sort of thing. But eventually you'll learn enough that you'll be able to future-proof your bases, without too much trouble, if that makes sense. You'll just know, oh, I need this many smelters to fill a belt, or you'll know where to look it up, sort of thing, if you don't remember on that one occasion. So yeah, it's sort of, say, eventually you'll just be able to build bases that are future-proof in it, just because you know the game, sort of thing. So I wouldn't worry too much, particularly early play throughs where you run out of green chips or whatever. That's just natural part of learning it, really. Okay, so if this was the... Oops, didn't mean to do that. This is now the exit. But it can't be, can it? Because there's not enough room to put those 8 belts across. So how much room would I actually need? So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 3 more tiles of dirt. I mean, this is also good. This is the creative mode mod. There is an editor built into Factorio now, but I kind of still prefer this. And this just lets you design things, and you can obviously then put them in your blueprint library and use them in the real game. You just have to remember not to include the cheaty things that it gives you. So this is worth considering if you sort of want to build yourself some, or mess about with numbers and things like that. It's really good for that sort of thing. So I think this needs to move over a little bit. How much of a little bit? So if we put this, say, 1, yeah, let's put it there, like that. So how much? I can do it with the water, can't I? If I just put this back in, like so, and then put that in the middle. Is that the right width? Yeah. So if that's the middle, because the second one, yeah, is then on the land. So if we make that like that. So how am I going to do that? If I put all of this back in and follow that line. So if that's the... So it needs to be there. Like that, I think. Oh. Got that bit wrong, haven't I? Why is it... Oh, I know. It's just because of the randomising it does of the corners, I think. Okay, so this is starting to look okay. I need to sort the signalling out at some point, don't I? But would that go there? What's it saying is in the way? I don't know. So these are the belts crossing over to the other side. And I think they're in front of the harbour, aren't they? Oops, oh, I've got them already. Yeah. So, we're going to end up with 8 belts here. Like that. Yeah. Let's put a little crossing point in. Make my life a smidge easier. Just that. And then goes up like that somehow. Do I put gaps in for the belts? I mean, I've done something like that here, haven't I, this side? Or I sort of space them out right at the corner. Yeah, we'll do something similar. So this is coming this way. Where do I want it to actually be? In fact, let's start putting some decoration on. Yeah, so this needs to be a thing at some point. I think we'll start with the stone brick edging. Like that. I think I've doubled it up for these. Okay. Oops. See how it becomes a straight line? That's sort of what I've been talking about. It sort of stops being, oops, like that. And goes nice. So, do I want to do this? Because we don't want that one poking out. But that looks a bit rubbish. So if we do that, and then put, oops, stone brick here, but then turn this into water, like that. Oh, that looks quite funky. Yeah, I like that. Because edge in really nice finish. Yeah, I like. It's one of the things I quite like about. And this is vanilla, and that's a vanilla feature. It's not something to do with all the mods I put on. It makes it actually look like a brick, you know, harbour. I was saying earlier on that it does it with all of them. It does it with concrete as well. But I think the colour looks slightly better with brick. It's so marginal. It's just a personal preference. But I think the brick just generally looks best. I just think the brick is like the best of the textures. This is I really like this one as well. This is a gridded thing, but this is a mod, so it's not actually a default thing, vanilla thing then. So what did I do? I made it there, didn't I? And then we put the brick there. Yeah, I think that looks okay. If I move you out the way. Now, I think what I've done on the other one, I've used stone gravel, I think. This stone gravel is great as well, but this is that's another, it's like a Factorio thing, I think. Assuming you've not looked at mods particularly, I wouldn't. Sort of a more purist, I think, than a lot of players. In that I would, you know, go with unmodded first, I think. So what am I trying to achieve with this? Because this is a lot bigger than the other one. So, if this was the wall here, do I want to put, I think I probably want the, yeah, I think that's a lot better. And then we could put a couple of gates in. Which gates are those? That's a concrete gate. I want a stone gate. For access for the engineer. Why have I put it opposite the blooming substation, like a plonker? Cool. And then I think concrete on the inside. I think I might switch this up for orange concrete, if I'm honest. Oh no, it's the orange concrete. Looks rubbish, isn't it? Is it orange refined? That's okay? Yeah, that's okay. No, not yet. But I've heard great things about the game's mods. Yeah, it's almost designed for mods. That was one of the. They used to do something called Friday Facts, Factorio Friday Facts, where they would talk about, talk about the game basically, what was coming up and things like that. What? Excuse me, updates were coming. Oh, excuse me, and the lead programmer was basically saying that they were I can't remember what it was. It was like StarCraft or something modder, and so the game was built for that from the beginning. So if we put maybe that didn't look very good. Regular refined. Oh, that's okay. Or just regular concrete? Yeah? Yeah, okay, that looks like a little path for the engineer. So it's one past, isn't it? And then I wonder if it's look okay with orange gravel. Oh, that's all right, isn't it? But yeah, so they sort of when they were building it, it was with modding in mind. But apparently, someone's telling me Lua, which is the code it's done in, is a bit of a pain in the bum. Which one? It was the orange refined, wasn't it? Okay. Like that. What about inside then? Inside we could do... Was this refined? No, it was regular concrete, wasn't it? Yeah. So maybe if we use the concrete grid, or... Would refined look okay here? Can't really see it. Oh, I think that's gone one too far, has it? It's a little difficult to tell when this stuff already laid down. No. So is there anything there? No, there isn't, is there? So there I've got it on top of that. So that's the same then. I think that looks okay. There's not a lot of room for lights though. Where's my orange lights? Have I got any orange lights? There we go. Sorry, because it's copper, so I'm going with orange. Maybe if I put an inset light there. Oh, I can't put one there. Yeah, I think that's okay. I mean, these will eventually go, but let's just punch a hole in it for the time being. Did you realise this that I could do for hours on? Yeah, I mean, this is... It's one of the... I mean, my original intention with this series was to do it all for real. I don't know why I thought that was sensible. Meaning as in not to do it in creative mode mod. I don't know why I thought that was a viable way of doing it. Seems like a bit of a waste of space, that, doesn't it? Oh, it's fine. Also, they're different lengths, aren't they? Am I going mad? That looks like it's longer. Oh, it don't matter. Right. Yeah, it's sort of this, and I say designing fundamentally is the thing I enjoy the most in the game. I don't know if you know Satisfactory as well. I don't know if you've seen or heard of that game, but that's even more focused on the... Well, it's not. I guess it's not focused on the aesthetics, but aesthetics is a big part of that, and this sort of series is kind of inspired by that. They're trying to make factories that look as good as they do in Satisfactory for this game, because it's like a diesel punk aesthetic in this game, so it's a little difficult to really get that style, but there's a few mods like Victoria that let you do it. Something like it anyway. So how do I make that look good given the situation? Let's think about that in a second. But yeah, I've been trying to, because I'm doing a series on that as well, playing that through, and there's quite a bit. It was a bit of a steep learning curve, to be honest with you. It was sort of, I hadn't anticipated the recipes had got so complicated in Satisfactory, and so it was like you clearly need to scale up or leave it running for a day, you know, which is always a bit naff. But clearly need to scale up. But I got a bit sort of, I don't know, disillusioned with it maybe. I wonder if I put something in the middle. Yeah, that looks a little more deliberate. It's only seen satisfactory play by Colonel Fire, but it looks quite in depth. Maybe a bit too much for me. I wouldn't say it was more in depth than Factorio, in terms of how to put it. Recipes. I mean, it has like more like alternate recipes is one of the big things to it. I'm not really doing them. I mean, I know they're there. So it's 1, 2, 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Oop. Is that right? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So they give you more building, but a lot of them, people have told me. I say I haven't really. The trouble with the alternate recipes is you have to go and collect hard drives. And I'm just, I really don't like collectathons. It's just always a big turn off for me. So I haven't really collected many of them, so I'm using a lot of the default recipes. And what I would say about it, the scale is just it is a bit bonkers. That would be the challenge of it, really. I would say it's not so much in depth as such. It's more just you have to produce a heck of a lot of everything to finish the game. Now you have to in Factorio, but my complaint is that in Factorio it gives you a lot of tools for doing that. It sort of helps you out more by, with blueprints basically is the big thing. And Satisfactory doesn't have blueprints, and no one's done a mod for them either, so it makes me wonder if that's even possible. Oops. If it's hard baked into the game that basically blueprints just aren't doable. Because it becomes a bit of a grind, putting in hundreds and hundreds of smelters and that sort of thing. Why is that not? Oh, because it doesn't need to be there. I've sort of been speculating on my series playing it that I'm wondering if they'd sort of intended for it to be a multiplayer game, and that then you would share, that difficulty of, putting in hundreds and hundreds of smelters with, belts, and because you got to do it all by hand basically. And it's not that it's unfun. It's just it gets very repetitive. Which is why I've trying to been set up some some community games, sort of for people who watch. So I'm trying to do that on my Discord, but I don't have much of an audience, so not too much interest in doing that. And most of the people who watch me watch for Factorio as well, so. I can't get an army of slaves to do it for me, you see. That's the big problem. And there again, like in Factorio, you've got an army you can have an army of bots doing the work for you. You can't in Satisfactory. Got to do it all yourself. Okay. Yeah, it's a good game. I wouldn't say it was more complicated. In fact, it's probably simpler in a lot of ways than Factorio, in terms of recipes. But it's just, the scale is sort of different because it's a single map though, so you can play, and it has a lot of advantages from that point because you've got, you've got a single map, and you know all nodes don't move, and they only produce a certain amount of material. So once you've built it, you can play the same map continuously. It's not like Factorio where you sort of run out of interest in the same map. You just keep going and going and tweaking it, and in particular making it look pretty. That's the sort of big thing that I've sort of come to enjoy in it. Do I want to get some Hazard Creek on the go? I don't know. I mean, there's no point that being there, is there? Because this is all going to go. So maybe if I put it here. Yeah, that's not too bad. So it'd be that way around. Like that, maybe? And then that one, that one, that one. Yeah, I think that looks okay. So I think it probably needs something else going on here. So I don't know if I could put a pattern in it, maybe. It's a bit simple, but something like that, maybe. You see, if I do it too close to the edge, it reveals that weird. There's a lot of conflicts going on with mods in this. So what? Yeah, these are different sizes, aren't they? So because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, no, I don't think it's a problem, but let's say symmetry is beauty, I suppose, maybe, or something. So if I was to recreate that pattern there, oops, didn't mean to do that. Like that. Concrete. Maybe cut them off at the same point, or nope. Yeah, I think make that a little bigger there. But if I do that, say it reveals the thing. What have I actually done at the other mine? I don't think I've done any particular. No, I haven't really done any prettying over here. Okay. Right, so let's put this. Oops. No. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Because I could use my old pattern for where the belts are. What would that look like? Use this one. So, oh. Something like that, maybe? Sounds like a shotgun going off that. Hello, Soulfire21. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. That looks cool. Thank you very much. That's kind of what I'm going for this series. It's focused on looking cool, rule of cool. It is a bit, what would the expression be? Pedantic, I suppose. So if I disappear off into, you know, what have I done there? 1, 2, 1, 2, click, 1, 2, 1, 2, click, 1, 2, 1, 2, click. There we go. If I sort of disappear into my own thoughts or Apologies for that. I'm sort of tendency to get a bit wrapped up in some of these games, which is not great for audience engagement, as they like to call it. So apologies for that. That looks all right, doesn't it? Well, the pattern, it won't quite let me repeat it there, but we could bring it further down. Will 2 fit in there? It looks like 2 will. I say again, apologies. I know it does sound a bit like a shotgun going off, that one. When I pop that in. It's because it plays all of the sound effects at once. So it didn't quite fit, but that's not bad. In fact, let's get rid of all of that. That don't look too bad. So if that was, oops, that was repeated. Does it overlap okay with that? That's kind of funky, isn't it? One there as well. We could run into a little problem, given I've put them, they are different lengths, but we'll have to see. Just so they only forgot to eat. Yeah, I need to eat. What rest of the world look like? So it doesn't look like much, if I'm honest. It's really revealed, because the idea of this is... So what I'm aiming for with this series, I've called it Aesthetic Factorio, and I'm attempting to build what I'm describing as aesthetic factories. So this is a copper smeltery. There's another one pretty much identical to this, but as you can see, I think it looked quite good from a, you know, on the map point of view. Nice ordered belts. This is a bit messy, but I have to balance a heck of a lot of belts, so that's a little unfortunate, but I think it looks quite good, you know, from a map point of view. And then this is like a smelting unit, so this produces 2 belts worth of copper. As you can see, it's not got a lot of beacons on it. I don't think the beacons, when you spam millions of down, look that good, so I'm trying to avoid using too many beacons. I don't think they look horrendous in a row like that. Especially nicely lined up, nice and symmetrical. And so that's sort of a unit of smelting, and then there's a whole load of them. This factory, as I say, this foundry is repeated down here. This is essentially train-based smelting. This one here. But you can see it's the same basic idea. I need to do essentially a copy of this for iron and for stone, but I need to tweak them. I don't need as much iron. Well, it depends on whether I do smelting of steel from iron or from ore. I'm currently heading towards ore. But if I do it from iron, it needs to be about the same size, because I'll need to send iron to steel. If I do it from... If I make steel straight from iron ore, then I won't need as much iron, you know, just pure iron smelting. But these are the trains. The trains are gigantic for the loading of ore on, as you can see. Absolutely massive units of trains. Partly to mirror the boats. I'm using a boats mod, which is what we're working on Harbours here. The boats just hold an absolute, you know, metric ton of stuff. So the trains are trying to mimic that in a sense, so that they're not, you know, uneven, as it were. But then we got the train unloading there, and the trains load on there, and they're obviously smaller. I'm trying to do different size trains for different jobs, but it's basically, as I say, it's the same factory, only sort of flipped over. This is the train-based mining, so millions and millions of miners. I need to make that look pretty, but otherwise we're working on the harbour. I was playing the game properly, so I flipped over to creative mode mod, and I'll be honest, we may well stick with it because it's proving to take a long time, particularly, as I say, I get wrapped up in it and hours go by with me playing it, and I've not really done a lot other than make it look a bit pretty. So this was the original base. So I have sort of technically, I've not launched a rocket with it. I was holding back on that, but it's basically done. You know, the research and that, etc., is finished. These are my roads, so I need to plumb in a road, and this is what I'm saying. There is so much to do on this series. I've designed some roads. They're these thinner ones. This was initial design, and these are roads basically for me to drive around on. See a crossroads there and a T-junction there. So I need to plumb in a road system. The idea is that each factory will have a car park part of it. So you can imagine here there'll be a sort of car park where the engineer gets out, and maybe I'll have a control panel. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there'll be a sort of a reception area that, like as if it was a real factory. And I have like Factorio and stuff. And my idea is I won't do it for these because these are going to be dirty, filthy foundries. But like for blue circuits, I'll make it look like a fancy high tech factory. And I've got like all sorts of signs, in particular holographic signs, these ones here. So I'll put loads of them around and try and make the floor look like, more smarter than the floor, for these ones. But also try and make it look like a factory. Good to see when it's done. Yeah. Well, hopefully I will finish it before the heat death of the universe. As I say, it is taking an enormous amount of time. I bit off far more than I can chew. What I may have to think about doing is scaling it back, because I couldn't sort of get a feel for how big I wanted everything to be. So I did some maths using the Factorio Lab calculator, and I just picked 1,000, sort of a nominal megabase, but especially because I'm not putting so many beacons on, that means an awful lot of smelters. And as I say, I'm sort of doing this in creative, and my initial thought was to then basically do it for real. And I say that's why I started building this here, playing it properly. But I mean, it's taking so long just to build this, in creative. So I say that I may abandon that idea and we'll just make it in creative mode mod. The only downside to that is I'll probably put defences on them anyway, because I like making defences, but the biters, as you can see, are so far away. I've just deleted them using creative mode. I mean, these aren't here. These are just because it's not revealed. So there is no real possibility that I'll get like properly attacked, until pollution hits them, which is not really going to happen. So that's the only sort of shame. I'm wondering, this looks a bit out of place, doesn't it? I could flip it over to like regular stuff, and then it would look okay colour wise. So we could do that. Are you planning on making the world available to download at any point? Maybe, yeah. It is an enormous save file, and it has a ridiculous number of mods. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was my plan, because I have my domain name registered, the Trismegistus domain name, and I used to have a website, but oops, not for years. But it was my sort of, I don't know about ambition, but thought to have, to sort of revive my website and put something like this on there. I made this 4 on the other side, didn't I? I say, but it is a gigantic number of mods. Okay, so if I then put this around here. Oops. But yeah, so I'm not opposed to that. I just, honestly, I don't have any real feel for how long it's going to take. It's going to be a long time. It's like when I did that. So I mentioned that series I did where I was doing my first mega base, and I was like, I'll get this done in sort of, a few months. Sort of a year later, I was just finishing the series, having spent hours and hours and hours playing it off stream as well as on stream. Right. So if that goes, say, there. So I think that looks okay. I'm not sure about, as I say, this feels like Dead Space. Not the game. Also, it doesn't have much. Oh, I forgot lights on this side, didn't I? Where's the orange lights again? There they are. So I can put 2 there, 2 there. Inset 1. Over there. Inlaid, not inset. There. Guess on this side I could have more of these, couldn't I? But then it'll be a bit uneven. Maybe just 2 there. Yeah, let's do that. Quite like the pants. Drains look a lot like some sort of drainage system. Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah, you're right. I started doing that because these, I say, there's so many mods, I'm getting a few conflicts, but basically the refined concrete looks good, but the regular coloured concrete ends up with this white border, the grey border, and it looks rubbish. But if you put other things around it, it hides that. So that's why I started doing that. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that, I think. How do I transfer it over to the other one? So I guess if I copy... How much... Because it's not quite even. Is it? Or is it? No, I need to go down to here. So if we just get rid of... Oops. Just get rid of that. So if I maybe... No. If I copy that bit... Are you going to flip? No, that's wrong, isn't it? Is it there? No. So I need that to be blue. What is that anyway? That's oh, got the wrong flip. That one? Like that? No. That was green though, wasn't it? Oh, it's blue I'm looking for, not green. Yeah, it's because they're different sizes. I think I have to do that by hand. Okay. Right, so this would need to be there. So it's different on the 2 sides. I'm not too fussed about that, but it means I'll have to do it by hand, as I say. Although it should be one further up, shouldn't it? Can it be there? No. Why does that not work? So that's okay. Oops. Wait, where has that blueprint gone? Oh. Is there a shortcut for deleting the blueprint? Oh, that's not very good. Oh no, I've dropped it on the floor. Hey, I didn't know you could still do that. Right, yes, so what was I doing? So if that needs to both be blue, doesn't it? Okay, I'm going to have to hand fill it in, I think, as I was saying. So if you're still there so far, I don't know. Were you here yesterday? I sort of recognise your name. Apologies, I'm a bit terrible with names. A bit terrible. I'm a lot terrible with names. I seem to recognise you from yesterday, but if not, it's just I usually sort of ask people what's their sort of experience of Factorio, if they're a player, because some people just like watching it, basically. So, how do I recreate that pattern? It is do. Okay, so it's like do. So it should be do and do. So do. Like that. Only not like that. Ha, okay. So it's not going to give me the inset style, is it? Oops. No. That one? There we go. That doesn't look too bad. So they end up a bit different because if I do that, it's just continuous. I sort of prefer. Can I get something approximate? Oops. Or maybe like that. Not as keen. Oh, I mean that looks funky, but it's not consistent. So, because I could go up there, and it keeps the diamond pattern, but then this is very different to that. Does that matter? I think I might have to just chop this off and we'll do it, because that one's then going to be different, isn't it, to all of these? In fact, let's see if I can just copy this and see if it works as a repeatable thing just from this initial bit. So we want the tiles. So if I'm taking this and putting this here, so that does work as a repeat there, doesn't it? The problem is this side and this. Let's try the whole thing then. So if I take it from halfway along the belt and take it out to sort of there. Tiles as well. Yeah, you see how it's gone weird here, look. But why does it work? So maybe if I do it the other way around, if I copy this, can I get this to overlap okay on here? Sans belt. Why is that different? Is it different? No, it's the same, isn't it? I think I've managed to very much confuse myself. Didn't take a lot, but it's happened. Okay, so let's tidy this up a little bit. So if I get rid of that. Oh, well, I know why that's different. That's because that I've chopped that off for the belt, but I don't need to do that here. So that's fine. It's all fine. Everything is fine. All good. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? It's I just get carried away. Fiddling about with tiny little bits of nothing. No wonder it's taking so long. Is that a... No. No. There we go. So it sounds like a shotgun going off there. Okay, so we've got the pattern there. Can I recreate it here? Because it'd be that one. Nope. That one, that one, that one, that one. No? Why is that wrong? One, two, one, two. Oh, I would need to fill that in. Okay, that's fine. Right, a bit of grey stone gravel. Cool. Wonder why that one is... Oh. I think it's just this end one that's going to be different. And so effectively I need to think of like that as the unit. Yeah, I think that'll work. So what we need here, if we copy up this, then does that fit there? No, you see it doesn't match. Or is that because I'm just being stupid and putting it in the wrong place? A little from column A, a little from column B. Like that. Because, well, let's put the infrastructure stuff in first. So let's do that without copying the tiles. We should be able to just sort of like So I need to chop these off if I'm going to do this without the tiles. Which would be... Let's do that in a bit. So it's this here. Have I got a random bit of... Oh, I have. Look. Nuts. Where's that come from? Which idiot has put a bit of fence there? Okay, so... You have to do that every time. I can't... There you go. Do. I know why it is. It's because... Yeah, okay. It's not that there's extra bit of fence. It's that the farthest one doesn't have the belts. So I've put it up to the edge. Okay. There. Okay. Right, so if we paste that on there... Get rid of the port. Also make... that fix, then I should be able to flip that. So we should be able to... Would it be a flip or a glip? It'd be a glip. So I have to ignore the belts. So it wants to go there. Yeah. And then there. Okay. So we got weird belts being flipped over situation going on. In fact, they need to go as well, don't they? It looks like I didn't fix the fence error. Okay. Cool. Right. Starting to get there, starting to get there. Okay, so if we do the tiles now, that's going to be the tricky part. Yeah, I think it's all been copied in okay. Now, if we do this one first, just that bit there, and copy just that, get the tiles, create blueprint, is that going to work? Yeah, I think that'll work, won't it? Okay, but I could also grab this bit, I think, as well. Yeah, okay. So if we just take the centerpiece, like so, tiles. Yeah, okay. Oh, I forgot. I've just missed off the edge of the water, so we've got a random bit of land left. That's okay. That's okay. Let's get this done. In fact, why am I doing this? Like this. Like that. We then plop it on. Give it an edit. Oh, has it not got... Oh, of course, none of them will have ports on. Because I took that off, didn't I? That's alright, I can put them on later. Unless that's the one... Is that the wrong one? No, there we go. That needs to have the ports taken off. Cool. So, that one. But... Not flipped? No, clipped. There we go. Like that. My Discord link doesn't seem to work. Oh, right, okay. Do you mean... Which one do you mean? The... link on my channel sort of thing? Or... Did you try... If you type exclamation point Discord, it should give you a link. But I've managed to end up with... I've got quite a few links to Discord. Because I always thought when you with Discord, if you did make this link permanent, it always gave you the same link. But it doesn't, I don't think. It like generates a new one. So I think I've ended up with several. I can get you one if you don't want. But if you type, if you type exclamation point Discord, the bot should give you a link. But I was also fiddling about with the settings on Twitch. The back end to both Twitch and YouTube is atrocious. If you've never been in, anywhere near it, and you're thinking of becoming a, content creator or doing some streaming or whatever yourself, watch some videos, because actual people will explain it to you. Because it's horrendous. It's just like so badly done. Link on my Twitch page. Okay. I say if you try this one. Title links. Okay, that's probably not one I've updated properly. Give that one a go. See if that one works. That one works. Cool. Okay. The intention of Discord is to do, I think I said this, is to do multiplayer basically. So I'd quite like to set up, particularly Satisfactory, but say I appreciate most of the people who watch my stuff are really only interested in Factorio, but interested in doing Factorio multiplayer, particularly community streaming. Someone who kindly did a raid yesterday was telling me about a scenario. It's actually, I don't know if you know, Mucky, Australian streamer, and they're part of their community Factorio play, and they're doing a thing. It's basically based on Minesweeper. It's like a community map thing. But I went ahead and look on there. You know, it's quite. I mean, it's loosely based on Minesweeper, shall we say? But it's quite cool. It sort of generates resource patches for you based on. Oh, if I put that in there, that's going to go weird, isn't it? In fact, let's take that one out altogether. I'll kind of work something out there. If you remember, I don't know if you remember Minesweeper. I don't know how old you are. But it generates resource patches for you by effectively playing Minesweeper with like furnaces, and it turns them into resource patches. It seemed quite a clever idea. But yeah, it's something like that I'd like to do because so I think it's just a bit more interesting. Content, a bit more variety. Always good. When I was doing the Megbase series, I got a bit fatigued with it, and you could actually tell. I watched some of them afterwards, and you could really tell that I was just not interested in continuing the series, particularly when I finished. But yeah, I say, the back end of Twitch is just atrocious. It doesn't. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. It's like, what are you telling me? What is this? It's probably because it's all been written by coders, and coders are not great at explaining things. Right, so they're all backwards, but we can sort that out. Is there some? I haven't got a bridge across, have I? Let's go across here. But yeah, welcome to join. I'm going to try and also start posting some pictures of particularly the Satisfactory, because it does look really good when you take it in photos. Even just the without applying filters to it or anything like that. It does look quite good. And I need to make a lot more progress on the road system, really. Right. So, what I'm thinking here is that these go across like this. We really want it one further up, I think, so that we can see... There we go. Because then we can see that pattern. Yeah, more than welcome to join. I'm not... Discord was actually set up by a moderator. Used to hang out. So it's sort of not my credit. But I was trying to think of something useful for it as well, because sort of everyone's got a Discord, haven't they? And most of them are sort of fairly inactive. That works, I think. I gotta say, I was in Minesweeper that I'll never get back. It was always great for wasting time at work, Minesweeper. That and Solitaire. What is going on here? Because that doesn't work at all, does it? Have I done that on both sides? No, that's okay there. Okay. So let's sort of tidy these up. In fact, we'll get rid of all of that. And that. Shouldn't say this really, but when I first played Factorio, it was at work. I had a sort of a big period where I wasn't really doing anything, and somebody mentioned it that I followed on DeviantArt of all things, the the art website. That they were seeing belts in their sleep. That sort of tickled my interest. And 2,800 hours later, here I am. So is that all the wrong way around? It is, isn't it? Can't see it. Is it still the wrong way around here as well? No, that's okay. So how about if I just get rid of that? Oops. Copy. In fact, did I already do that? No, that's something else. Go. Good old Minesweeper. Going to the Mahjong game that came Windows 7. All right. I never really understood Mahjong. I mean, I get the sort of concept of it, but you know, placing tiles sort of thing. But although I think there's actually lots of games, different variations of games out there that you can play that are Mahjong. But it's because it has like suits, doesn't it? Of sort of certain symbols matched together is a suit. That's probably not the proper word for it, but that's the sort of Western equivalent. No, no. Wait, why is that not? Oh, there it is. Cool. What I'm thinking I'm going to do is test this, and we'll put some creative mode, you know, infinite spawners. I'm not going to set up. I'm not going to force you lot to watch the millions of belt placement. I think that's that's beyond the pale, really. But we can fake it with infinite spawners. And we'll test whether it all hooks up. And what we'll actually do, we'll hook the boats up. And get them to, you know, I'll do a path. It probably won't be the final path, but, you know, we'll set one in, because I can do that via the map. And we'll get them to drive around, or sail around, I guess, technically. Not technically, actually. Where's the undergrounds? There we go. Okay. We'll leave the decoration side of this one for the time being, because it's a bit of a mess, but so if I hook up these, it'll be a bit of a slow test, because the boats are, even with nuclear fuel, quite slow. Which is another question I've got to answer. I've got to find a way of refueling the boats at some point. Because I was intending to have a sort of a train yard system, you know, like an actual train yard. But it suggests I've got to have a boat yard as well. Because I didn't want to have, you know, like bots, you know, loading trains at individual factories. Because I always think that looks a bit untidy and messy. Practical, but untidy and messy. Right, so if that comes out there, that's me boats. Me boats. Now it needs to be in the middle here, doesn't it? So it's that one. Yeah, that's the middle. 'Tis the middle. So we'll hook this up. I should also note I'm a bit rubbish with replying on Discord, so if it takes me a while to reply, I'm a bit stuck in my ways, I guess. And there are sort of so many social media platforms that I find it a bit difficult to keep track of them all. Basically, I'm saying I'm an old man because I'm an old man. But yeah, I find it a little difficult to keep up with them all, and I just forget about some of them, basically. Right, so a lot of these don't have actual ports on, do they? Because I took the ports off, I think, in order to place them. And also, they would have been on the wrong side. So, we need to fix that. So this side, what we need is a port. Oh no. Oh no. I should have checked that before. It's the 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 issue. That's not lined up. Nuts. What's a fix for that then? I guess. In fact, let's just check. So on this side, we've got the port there, like that, and it's in front of the substation. On this side, because I've got to have it on the right-hand side. Oh, is it just that the fence is in the way? Is that me just being dumb? Where's it gone? Because it should work. Oh, there we go. It's just me being dumb. So we want a bit of fence there as well. Okay, okay. Fear not, it is just me being dumb. Okay. It won't be hooked up to the wires though, will it, with the condition? So maybe it'd be better if if I copy this one. What have I actually hooked it up to? Because it might be better if it was hooked up to the substation and then I can copy it across. Oh, it won't let me do that, will it, from the map? So if I undo that and do that, then I should just be able to copy that across. Like that. And obviously I need to fix it here. Like that. And like that. I didn't rename the station, did I? Nuts. Port, not station. That. That. There. So it should be okay on this side. So we got lots of Jacob Creases. Good old Jacob Creasy. Okay. Okay, so it actually needs to be... Now, I'm using drop off and pick up for the ports. Okay, so this needs to be... oh, I've already got a pickup? Why have I got a copper pickup? And where is that? Why are they called pickup and not drop off? Oh dear. Why are they called pickup and not drop off? And why does it have a train limit of 0? Okay. That's a bit confusing. Why would that be? Because these are the pickups. And those other ones should be drop off. Two more. Because the only other, the drop off, the pickup, should be here. Because this is a fake one, so that I could get them, you know, driving around, sailing around. Oh no, they are drop offs. Where's the copper? Have I called these pickup then? No, that's load. That's unload. What? Drop off? What? Let's have a look at the train manager. So we've got... Oh, station, sorry. So we've got 16 drop-offs, which are all the ports over at the other place. So that makes sense. We would expect 16. I've got 18 load. That's the trains. 17 pickup, because I've got that extra one there. The 3 unload for the trains. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong. I must have just confused myself. Okay, so what we actually want to do then is kind of get rid of this. But as soon as I do that, the boats are going to start moving, aren't they? So how about if I break that line? Yeah, no path. Start you up again. So you move out the way. Then we can take all of that out. Get rid of that. And then... So it's not going to be the sort of final path, but we can kind of... Where do I actually want it to go? It's probably going to be going down the middle of the channel somewhere. So... Over to here then, maybe? Now, if I push it through, say, next to this island. So then we want to be up here somewhere. Will you stop being annoying? Up here. So I'll have to come up with a nice proper path. Because I want to kind of avoid being too close to any land. Because if I did ever, you know, do it properly as it were, there's going to be millions of biters. So we want to be out of range of any spitting. Dirty little spitters. So this should hook up to this. Of course, it's not giving me that connection, because why would it? No. No. Good old ghost. Always being painful. No, you're not. Why are you not connecting to that? Right. There you go. So, These should actually start moving, I guess, now. Look at the distance they got again. No? Why can't you find... Oh, it's trying to go to a drop. What? Why aren't you trying to go there? Did I not call them pick up? I did, but of course there's zero stuff in them. So they're not going to move until we actually put some fake material in. Not fake, but generated material. Let's go over here somewhere. Like this, down here. I mean, if you've not encountered this mod before, it's basically, these are trains. I'm essentially laying train line over the water. In fact, let's go this way. But so it gives you infinitely. It's not just creative mode. That means I've got infinite of this, because it's basically free railroad track that lays over water. It's pretty cool. Mod, one of my little favourites. So this needs to connect over here, doesn't it? So you're not going to play ball. Of course you're not going to play ball. Let's go there. There we go. So now they can theoretically path round. We do lack signals on the waterway, and of course I need to delete this and put it back and blah 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 for it to work. But we need signals. Did I put chains? No, I put regulars. That's probably wrong then, wasn't it? So we probably need regular signal buoys. Regular buoys. That's the other reason they won't be able to path, because there is no path. Funny that. So we want, say, one there, one there, one there. And then that should be a chain, I think. Is that right? So if that's a chain, then we could put sort of chains here, I guess. Why are you not? There you go. No. So, if I copy that, will it work? Are you going to play ball? I think it'd stay the same, won't it? Unless I delete it. I have to go now. Not the rest of the stream. Thank you very much, Johnny Mentos. Thanks for stopping by and the follow and joining the Discord. Hope you have a good day. All of my stuff, I mean, well, you came from YouTube, didn't you? But all of my stuff's on, all the VODs are on YouTube if you wanted to check anything out. Probably gone now, so I got so wrapped up, that's probably half an hour ago. Right. And then if I sort of water fill these like that, I should be able to just copy all of that, line it up there, and we get the other end. I say it's like a very, very, very low throughput system because of the amount that the boats hold, so I'm sure there'd be ways of optimizing the throughput, etc. if it was trains, but they aren't trains, so it doesn't really matter. So these are all turned off because everything is set to 64K. Okay, now I need to get over to the other side. As I've said before, they don't actually care it won't let you put the water on top of the land. But once it's like, you know, the water path, once it's laid, it's perfectly happy for you to you know, put this, you know, put land on top. And I would be doing it with landfill, but for some reason, oh, it's not got the option on again. It keeps losing this. Now, where is it? Game settings? No. Personal cheats? No. Where is it? Is it admin? No. 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 Must be personal cheats, is it? No, it's not God mode. Instant deconstruction. Is it team cheats? Creative tools recipe, there it is. So I don't know why it keeps turning that off, but oh well. Matter source, there we go. Let's get some of them. The spiciest of sauce, matter sauce. Right, so we want copper ore. Copper ore. No, we want those. Oh, are you not gonna? There we go. And then I guess we do this one. There we go. It's gonna take a while for these to fill up, isn't it? I could just set the conditions lower. Oh, I needed to copy the belt as well. Oh, okay, so that's stuff coming in. So I could just set the condition a bit lower. Maybe knock a 0 off. But so there we go. Here's a problem. Why are those all the wrong way round? So stuff is at least getting in. It's not being loaded that quickly. Oh, what's going on here? Why would that one be wrong? Oh, they're all wrong. That's... Oh, it's because I punched the belt through there. And then I've copied that one, haven't I? There we go. No wonder all of those are wrong. So we actually, oops, put that on there. So creative, even if you're not doing something bonkers like this, creative mode is awesome because it's like lets you test out the designs. It's unfortunately it can be a bit of a deceptive test sometimes in that, you know, if you're faking like this, but you're doing it for, I don't know, green circuits or something. It can give the impression that your design is fine, even though actually you're not producing that many green circuits, or there's stutters in your supply, or you know, things like that that mean it's not really working. Okay, so if I say change this condition to 6,400. Then these should start kicking in. So if we just copy that across. And then in here, we should be able to go and see the boats kicking into life. That's doing my eyes in. No? No path. Okay. No path to drop off, but then I don't want you to go to drop off. I want you to go to pick up. Why are you all trying to go to drop off? And why are you saying there's no path to pick up? Ah, well this is not connected, is it? If it's like looking like that. Like that. Now what I am going to have to do is put a load of signal buoys in, aren't I? Because otherwise they're going to wait for the other one to do the entire journey. So let's just randomly find some places to put some of these in. Go on, in you go. No, wrong way. I don't know, one here and one here and... They don't really need to be this close, I say, because the boats are going to be... Come on. Oh, no. Quite far apart in practice, so... Come on. No. Should blueprint it, really. I mean, I suppose, though, a lot... Because I'm probably going to do this as well, because you can do... This mod lets you do, like, oil... Deep sea oil drilling. I'll probably end up doing that. Because this isn't, you know, this is copper, obviously, but I'm going to have one for iron and probably stone and stuff as well. Because idea is to mine quite a lot of this stuff as well, and then basically this is going to be Science Island. You know, in whichever decade I manage to actually get anywhere near finishing this series. I mean, it'll actually accelerate quite a lot because obviously the smell, you know, it's that thing of Factorio has where, you know, you produce 10, well, a single, I don't know. Wait, why are those? Oh no. Why have I got that on the wrong side? Because that should be... Because this is the out. So this is fine. But why are those on the wrong side? Or were they? Okay, and I just got confused. Because that needs to be on the inside. I think I just confused the in for the out there. I think we're okay. Okay. Yes, I'll probably do some deep mining, but I say there's that effect where, you know, a blue circuit represents the condensation of, you know, a compaction of tons and tons of resources. How are the boats doing? Oh, they're about halfway. That's not taken that long. There's only 2 of them moving, though, because I bet these are all, yeah, complaining about no path, aren't you? Why were you even trying to get to drop off? This is the question. Oh. Thank you very much for the follow, Sleeping Pirates. Very much appreciated. Why are we saying pickups unreachable again? How can 2 of them be driving to a place that is apparently unreachable? Unless I've messed up the signals. As I was afraid. So you're saying you can't get to pick up. So where does that start to fail then? If I sort of hover over here. So get to there. So how is getting to... Oh, it's just that 2 of them... No. These are open. No, they're not, because it's not. They're open, but they can't get to them because it's not copied the water over. Oh, bum. Okay. Anyway, let's switch all of these boats to the right place anyway. So they all want to be going to pick up. One thing I haven't found out is whether you can get killed by the boats. Because, as I say, it lets you put the, you know, the land on once the boat's already, the path is already laid. But therefore, you can stand in the way. And I don't know. So you must be going to pick up. Yeah, but you can't get there. Because some of them are switched off. Or inaccessible because it's not copied the water. Okay, let's fix that then. Right. Yeah, I don't know whether that means you can stand there and get hit by a boat. Feels a bit like the old Austin Powers gag with the guy getting run over by the steam thing, because they're quite slow. So you'd have to sort of go some to get hit by. It's not like trains where they hunt you down. Right, so we need to put this in, and then the boat should start moving. Okay. Oh dear. In my defence, you know, this is it in the sense of, you know, there's going to be one more, you know, there's going to be 3 gigantic patches, so I'm not mining out, you know, an endless thing, and I'll just copy this over, so I won't have 8 of them, but we'll have... Why is that one? I guess no boats assigned to it. That's what that means, isn't it? Is that because I've messed up? No, it's just not done the business. So it suggests 3 of these are in error. Well, they're certainly saying no path to drop off. That's because you can't go around in a circle. I don't get why they would say pick up. Drop, you know, why they're ready to go to drop off. So is that assigned? So we got a boat assigned to every, I guess it's a ship, isn't it, for the size, for every one. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay. But I think I've actually got 30. No, I haven't. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16. So it's 1-to-1 effectively. But what I'm trying to prevent is, because of the travel time, it's fairly likely that they'll sort of arrive and the boat's already gone, if you see what I mean. So, you know, it takes so long, and because it's so far and they're not quick, that they'd end up only stopping at these stops, basically. And I could sort that with, like, enormous balancers. You know, we could do, you know, some redonkulous balancer. But it's, I don't know if anyone's done how many belts are there here? I would be kind of surprised if anyone's done a 64-to-64 balancer. I mean, I have, I suppose, technically. That's what this is. That's my claim to fame. I've done a 64-to-64 balancer. Not a very good 64-to-64 balancer. Right, so are boats incoming? They are incoming. Is every boat incoming? They're certainly queuing up. Looks like it. Ooh, it's exciting. Just, I mean, they've got nuclear fuel on them, so this is as fast as they could possibly go. I wonder what that is there. And as I say, I'm going to have to come up with... I'm going to have like a boat and train yard, I think. Maybe a combined one. And then I can just make all of the fuel at that one place. Excuse me. Yeah, but the ultimate goal is this is going to be Science Island. So, for example, all of the copper here is going to go to various places, but some of it needs to go here directly. Because when I say Science Island, I'm going to have, hopefully, factories making the science is, but I'm not 100% sure. So, for example, simple example, copper plate and iron gear wheels. Well, am I going to make iron gear wheels somewhere? Or am I going to transport iron gear wheels in? Because I fancy the idea of making iron gear wheels at a factory. But because iron gear wheels are just used in like absolutely everything, I'd then have to set up a massive logistics system transporting iron gear wheels around. Whereas if I keep the smelting side of it relatively simple, and we just move iron plate, copper, steel, maybe we do like plastic and sulfur or something, because obviously batteries are, I mean, they call them intermediates, but they're made from the other things. Explosives are made from the other things. We'd also obviously need stone brick, coal, oil, moving around. But if I just limit it to a relatively small set of ingredients and then make things locally, so Science Island will make gear wheels and, it will make the various ingredients, because they're not going to be that big, because it's only 1,000 I'm going for, so it's not, and I don't actually care if it doesn't do that, but it means dropping off the resources. And I think I worked out, because we're going to have iron, copper, steel, I don't know, maybe oil, but stone brick, coal. Did I do coal twice? I mean, we don't need uranium, but maybe uranium. But it's sort of 8, and this island is sort of an octagon-ish. You've got a bit there, bit there, bit there, bit there, bit there, bit there, bit there. So I've got the option of delivering everything to Science Island via boat. But if I either don't fancy that, or because the slight difficulty with that means that if I have, a green circuits factory, I'm probably going to have both train and boat then access, which would be interesting for canals and stuff. But because say if green circuits ended up here, or wherever, be quite fun to plough an actual canal through, I think, but quite complicated. Whereas what I can also do is I can bring trains across here, because I got a bridges mod on, so we can take trains across, and I think it'd look awesome having some trains going across this, weaving across these islands, just bridges across the gaps, and weave across here. I think that'd look awesome. So it feels like maybe I drop off some resources via boat and some via train, and maybe it's a level thing. Maybe copper and iron and stuff are dropped off by boat, but I could bring maybe we could do green circuits coming in instead of making them on the island, so all the intermediates come to, except some like gear wheels, for example. Maybe we could have engines coming in, electric engines, that sort of thing. So some things are made locally, but most is made remotely. And then if it's complicated, if it's a complex ingredient, it comes via train. And we could have mixed trains. We could have trains that pick up green circuits and gears or whatever, or pick up green circuits, red circuits and blue circuits, and drop them off here. And we could have a big train yard here that is the drop off of everything, and then we route it round. Maybe we has an internal train system. That'd be quite cool. But obviously, as you'd expect, maybe rocket launch in the middle, and we're talking 2 rockets, to get 1,000. So it's not a massive undertaking. So I've been rabbit away. Some boat must have arrived by now. I bet there's one gone back, because the only condition is to stop for. That's not actually filled in, is it? Why has it not put that in as a real thing? I say their only condition is to wait for 3 seconds. So they'll immediately disappear. There you go. So they've taken some. So I think actually that does want to be a regular signal, doesn't it? No, it's fine. So it's relatively slow throughput system. You see, it's just wait for 3 seconds. It's not exactly, you know, fill up and go. That's fine. I want to test them moving through rather than transporting all the stuff. And I say, I don't know. I suspect what I'll do is I'll set these to be, the condition actually to be a cargo one. Because if you haven't seen, I say the compensation for them being slow is the enormous size of the inventory. They carry a stupid amount of stuff. It's probably better if they just fill up, isn't it? These ones. So there we go. So I usually only stream for about 3 hours at the weekends. So we're probably coming up to time, but it looks like everything's okay. Because we're getting boats coming into all the harbours now. So who have you got assigned to you then? Can I tell who's been assigned to this one then? Because these wouldn't be repathing, would they? Maybe they do. That's interesting. I could always one-to-one it, you know. Give them specific names. But that's interesting. These haven't had a train boat arrive. I don't think. It's difficult to tell about. Because they don't exactly wait. But why would these ones have been assigned? And after these ones? I guess because I put the paths in the other way round? I started at that end? Interesting. Right. So, they're on the way back. I can set the game speed, can't I? So maybe I could do that. I can never remember where the heck that is, though. There's so many cheats in... It's not under admin, is it? No. Modding. It's got to be in cheats. Game settings? Game speed, there we go. So we've put this to... So if I kill my machine, you know why. But we'll put this to 3 times. Is it quicker? So I don't think my machine can actually cope with it doing that quickly. So it's a little bit faster, I think. Yeah, I think they're moving a bit quicker, aren't they? So if I also take it out of map mode, maybe we get some better performance. So I've managed to achieve 1.5 game speed. Yeah, so what I need to do is this effectively. The whole setting up of the mining. It is a bit tedious. But essentially what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to loop them around the back. Or will I? No, it'd make more sense if I sort of divide them up, wouldn't it? Because we've got 4 patches. And we've got 16 harbours. So we could have 4 and 4, so that could do 4, that could do 4. Maybe that does 4 on this side and that does 4 on that side. So I get rid of them, basically. Yeah, that would make some sense. As you can tell, I'm kind of filling for time. I mean, these have all been assigned. And it's the same logic system, just with different numbers. I say, yeah, I really love this mod. It's sort of a really awesome one. What I really need to do also as well, and this might be particularly for Science Island, but if we do some things via boat and some via train, there's also the train mod. Where the heck is it? I can never remember. But there's like lifting train bridge. There it is. So that is like an integration with the... I already got one. With the train bridges mod. And you can put... There you go. So it'll go across these, basically. So we can have trains connecting, like going over the top of bridges. Now that bit I have not used before. So let's use the iron bridge. I think I need to get rid of that, don't I? There you go. A little difficult to demonstrate it because it's so big. But yeah, that's the thing. So we could do something like that. Particularly, say, if we got canals. Can I demonstrate that quickly? Let's make a little bit of a... So I'm just trying to fill a bit of time. Oh, they're coming in. So if we pop that back down to 1. Which one are you going to then? Oh, one's already been and gone. Okay. So you're going in there for some reason. Okay. Well, it's heading off. So that one's coming into there. They do reassign then. Nuts. That's not solved that problem at all then, has it? Dang. If this one moves to that one. Yeah, look. So they must be repathing then. Why would they repath? I might just one-to-one them then. I can still keep the conditions because that'll stop them, you know. What would that stop? It wouldn't stop anything really. I wonder if it's because they're moving so far, they're sailing so far, that they keep repathing. But that's annoying. I mean, it's a one-to-one system anyway, so it sort of doesn't matter. It was just, I was trying to avoid having a million stations with different names. And I guess I could hook them up and do some logic. I was intending to do logic at the start of this anyway, but then I realised I could probably get away without. Except I can't, can I? Because what's basically happening is one of these one of these boats is coming in here, you know, fulfilling the conditions, so it's done with the station. There's one. and then the boat that was originally pathed to there is saying, oh, well, that's closer and open, so it's coming in. So in other words, all of the boats are only turning up at the first half of the things, which I don't fundamentally mind from a point, they're going to be travel so far and take so long to fill up that it's sort of, I'm not actually fussed about, in a sense, which one they go to. It's just that if we have all of the resources being dropped off here, then we're not going to get the buffering I need across the entire system for it to keep working continuously. This splitter is basically going to... Well, for example, if only 8 of the stations only ever fill up, then the belts will only ever be half full going in here, which is then just a waste of, UPS, basically. But also throughput, etc., etc. I mean, it might sort of auto-solve it. If I make sure the boats completely fill up, they'll spend so long at these stations that... or ports that, effectively it won't matter. And I say I could do a logic system of what, I'm not sure what that would look like actually. What would I need to do? No, I think I'm going to have to one-to-one the trains basically. That's annoying. Oh well. Yeah, I can't think of any other way around it. Anyway, objective achieved for today. This is the ports. In terms of the other resources, so copper and iron and steel and etc. I'll just reuse these designs. So I've got several designs now for both harbours and... Well, I've only really got one for trains, haven't I? So I probably need something going on there. Why have those got resources? Huh, weird. I bet this is chunking through resources now, is it? Is this processing anything? No. Why are they going to drop off and not actually... Oh, they are. It's just they're only there 3 seconds, so it's an almost imperceptible amount of ore coming into the system. Does that mean this? Here we go. So some of it has processed through. These are all stopped because there's a train manually stopped here. Okay. But that's not solved the problem that I had at the start of the stream, has it? And I'm not sure I'm smart enough to do anything other than one-to-one them. Oh well. No, that's really a problem. I say it's just... I didn't want to have a billion stations with different names. Cool, okay. So that's it for today. Let us get the schedule up. For anyone who doesn't know, is new to the stream or the channel. Where's my schedule? There's my schedule. So basically I stream weekends, usually only a few hours each day. It's just a bit of a hobby this for me. I'm not, one of these content creators who streams all day. So you can catch me on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. As it says there, the Friday, Saturday and Sunday are at 3 o'clock BST. There'll be a converter on my channel page if you need the local time, but it's the same time every day. The Monday one is after work. I am intending to probably switch that out for a community stream of Satisfactory if anyone is interested in doing that. I appreciate most people are more interested in the Factorio stuff from watching my things, but I say certainly Satisfactory I'm thinking about doing a community stream because I am working on a factory, but it's fairly slow progress because it's so big. So I'm thinking about that. And to do that, I'm using my Discord. So I have a Discord. Everyone's got a Discord. But mine, as I say, is focused on multiplayer. Also interested in Factorio multiplayer, if anyone wants to give that a go. Either just with me, or perhaps we'll do some community type stuff. at some point. And if you want to, if you're watching the VODs or over on YouTube, then that's my Twitch channel, Trismegistus. You can find me there on that schedule if you want to pop in and say hello. Very much appreciated to have people chatting and also just people watching. Really cool with that. So there's also my YouTube channel. All of my VODs go up to YouTube. It's Trismegistus, but it's alias to Triggles. And there's Twitter, which is also Trismegistus, alias to Triggles as well. I really basically just post when I'm going live. So that's all the self-promo stuff done. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, you can get the bot to tell you the links. Those do appear to work. And if you say, so if you wanted to catch me live, that's the schedule there. So I'll be back tomorrow, 5 o'clock with more Satisfactory. I'll be working on the trucks. So I'm doing a system in the desert to deliver resources via truck to the mega smeltery. And I don't know how trucks behave with pathing and avoiding each other and that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to investigate on Monday. We're going to work out if I have multiple trucks dropping off at multiple truck stations next to each other, do they crash into each other or do they avoid each other? How many trucks can I have in a row? That sort of thing. So we're going to work all of that sort of stuff out on Monday. Then we'll be back on Friday with more. I don't know that update 6 might not drop before then. Maybe. They behave poorly, if I recall. That's what I'm afraid of. Jace, that's what I'm sort of expecting to happen. So I may have to do something to work around that. But I say we'll see what we see, basically. That's everything, I think. So if you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it, and you might consider coming back. I guess next week, Satisfactory, obviously on Friday, but Saturday again will be Crashtorio 2. Sunday we'll probably switch over to the Blueprint series. I'm not far off getting to a point where I want to test my blueprints. But so that's what we're doing next weekend. So I say if you've been watching, I hope you enjoyed it. You might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.